While there can be a tremendous measure of mental and monetary pressure that goes into arranging the wedding of your fantasies, the day you say, "I do," is likewise expected to be one of the most joyful days of your life. After the conventions of the service, the gathering permits couples to share their most memorable dance and celebrate with loved ones preceding going on a vacation. From that point, the principal day of their other lives should start as they start another life together. However, when these lovebirds started feeling a little unsure about their relationships, instead of attempting to accommodate their disparities, request a separation, or look for cancellation, they decided to end the actual association, and not by legitimate means. Lewis Bennett. 41-year-old Lewis Bennett and 41-year-old Isabella Hellman were hitched in February 2017. They arranged a late special night for May of that year, where they would cruise on a sailboat through the Caribbean prior to getting back to Florida. On May 17, 2017, the couple diagrammed a course from Varadero, Cuba, back to Florida. Be that as it may, Bennett guaranteed the vessel was on autopilot, and Hellman accepted watch as he rested. He was stirred a few hours after the fact by a crashing under, and when we went above deck to explore, Hellman was gone. Bennett invested no energy into searching for his missing spouse. When the boat started leaking water, he assembled a portion of his possessions, alongside $35,445 in old-fashioned coins, which he guaranteed had been taken by one of his previous workers, boarded a daily existence pontoon, and loosed himself from the sinking transport. He then, at that point, left one of Hellman's sisters a phone message with respect to her vanishing prior to reaching a companion in Australia, whom he requested to contact the Coast Guard. Tragically, in spite of a 4,900 square mile, 12,690 square kilometer search, Hellman's body was never found. Contrary to Bennett's cases, an examination uncovered that the sailboat had been deliberately left, as the two openings in the vessel's structures were practically indistinguishable and made from inside the boat, which could never have been brought about by unintentional harm or colliding with an item. Moreover, the trapdoors were passed on open to deliberately sink the boat. In November 2018, Bennett was offered a supplication understanding in which he confessed to compulsory homicide, and was condemned to 8 years in jail with 3 years of directed discharge. Bradley Robert Dawson. 38-year-old Bradley Robert Dawson and 36-year-old Christy Chen Dawson of Memphis, Tennessee, were hitched in February 2022. The couple wanted to partake in their vacation in July 2022 at the Turtle Island Resort in Fiji. The selective retreat is additionally where the 1980s film The Blue Lagoon was filmed. However, on the night of July 8, 2022, one more traveler at the hotel grumbled about commotion coming from the couple's room. They depicted it as an alcoholic contention joined by a boisterous shout, a bang, and afterwards utter quietness. Sadly, nobody investigated the matter until the following day when the retreat staff understood the couple hadn't appeared for feasts, yet at that point, it was past the point of no return for Christy. A maid tracked down Christy's dead body in their room with grisly wounds to her face, head, and back. Bradley was captured on one more island on July 11, 2022. While he at first admitted to his significant other's homicide, he later changed his story subsequent to getting lawful direction, expressing that he had taken a kayak to a close-by island on July 8, 2022, to give Christy some space after their contention. What Bradley neglected to make reference to was that when he left the retreat, he abandoned his refined GPS watch, just taking his wallet and visa with him. Bradley is accepted to be a flight hazard and stays in guardianship, having to deal with murder penalties. In any case, he keeps up with his guiltlessness, expressing that Christy was his beginning and end, and that he petitions God for her consistently. His bail hearing is set for September 1, 2022. Jordan Graham. 22-year-old Jordan Graham and 25-year-old Cody Johnson were hitched on June 29, 2013, in Kalispell, Montana. In any case, just 8 days into their new life as a couple, Graham tricked Johnson to Glacier National Park in West Glacier, Montana, under the reason of a surprise. While Johnson was anxious to go with his new lady of the hour and dropped his past designs for kayaking and hitting the fairway that day, he had no clue about the vile shock Graham had as a main priority. Graham had decided to stand up to Johnson about her wedding laments, yet decided to have the conversation on a limited edge in the recreation area, which sat many feet over a ravine. When Graham communicated her despondency to Johnson, a contention resulted between the couple. Johnson then got Graham by the arm, yet in her annoyance, she brushed his hand away and drove him off the bluff to his demise before just driving back home. Johnson was accounted for missing on July 8, 2013, however Graham never called the police. As a matter of fact, Graham created a few unique stories and bits of proof all through the examination concerning Johnson's passing, from saying he had left with a gathering of companions to manufacturing an email saying he kicked the bucket during a climb. Johnson's body was found at the lower part of a 300-foot, 91-meter precipice on July 12, 2013. On December 12, 2013, Graham conceded to second-degree murder under a supplication bargain and was condemned to 30 years in jail, trailed by 5 years of regulated discharge. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe.